Hi Colleen, thanks for the last session. It was very insightful. Picking up from where we left off, we're a bit unsure about the clinical data requirements for our device. We're concerned about starting an expensive clinical trial only to have the FDA ask for different or additional data. Can you help us with this?
Absolutely. That's a common concern. A good starting point is to look at previous submissions for similar devices. You can find useful data in the FDA databases and on clinicaltrials.gov to help draft your trial protocol. However, it's crucial to ensure the FDA is on board with your approach.
How do we make sure the FDA is aligned with our plan?
Early communication with the FDA is key. I recommend setting up a Q-submission meeting with them. These meetings are great for discussing your device's regulatory pathway and getting early feedback. One type of Q-submission meeting is referred to as a pre-submission meeting, which is usually intended for new or novel devices or devices where alignment is needed on regulatory strategy or data requirements.
What are the main benefits of a pre-submission meeting?
There are several. First, you can clarify regulatory requirements specific to your device and get early feedback on your development plan. This helps in optimizing your study design and avoiding common regulatory pitfalls. It's also a chance to resolve any ambiguities and tailor your regulatory strategy. Engaging early with the FDA can make the whole process more predictable and streamlined.
The Food and Drug Administration Q-Submission Program, also known as the Pre-Submission Program, or Q-Sub for short. The program allows manufacturers of medical devices to obtain feedback on the regulatory process and requirements for devices they have in development. The FDA heavily supports and encourages Q-Subs. It's to the FDA's benefit to promote conversation and discussion with device manufacturers. In turn, manufacturers get the opportunity to obtain valuable information that can help streamline their 510(k) submissions and entire development process. Key benefits include clarification of regulatory requirements, early feedback, avoidance of regulatory pitfalls, optimization of study design, resolution of ambiguities, tailored regulatory strategy, faster decision-making, increased predictability, documentation for submissions, regulatory relationship building. The FDA encourages Q-Subs as an excellent way to communicate with device developers and provide feedback before they initiate their 510(k) submissions.
That sounds helpful. How much does a pre-sub meeting cost?
There's no cost for the meeting, which makes it a very practical option. Also, there is no limit to the number of pre-sub meetings you can have.
And how long does the preparation typically take?
Preparing the pre-submission packet usually takes about a month. You can request a teleconference or a written response, and if it's a teleconference, you'll propose meeting dates about 60 to 75 days after submission, depending on FDA's availability.
Are there any reasons we might not want to conduct a pre-submission?
While the benefits usually outweigh the risks, there are considerations. Preparation takes time and resources, and you might not always agree with the FDA's feedback, which could affect your timelines or testing strategies. However, aligning early with the FDA typically leads to more favorable outcomes when you formally submit.
And what happens after the meeting?
Post-meeting, you'll develop an action plan based on the FDA's feedback to address any concerns or suggestions. This might involve revising your documentation, conducting additional studies, or adjusting your regulatory strategy. Depending on the feedback's complexity, a second pre-sub might be beneficial.
This has been incredibly enlightening, Colleen. It seems like engaging early with the FDA not only helps clarify our path, but also builds a collaborative relationship for the future.
Exactly, and that collaborative relationship can be key to navigating the regulatory process smoothly. Let's start preparing for that pre-sub meeting to ensure we're on the right track.